CCU, your community financial partner, brings to you Beyond the Mortgage.
Affordable rates, affordable price, NCCU, everything nice. Go do a course, go take a trip. Beyond the mortgage, 246. You take the mortgage already, to make your pocket go empty. Beyond the mortgage, NCCU will keep you steady. You need to buy a new fridge, you want to purchase a settee. Get rid of medical bills and invest in the green energy. Beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. Everything nice, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. NCCU for life. 246, yes, 246. Wow, 246.
Beyond the Mortgage, 2% savings, 4% retirement solutions, loans available at 6%, and our special BTM line of credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Caribe Hard Cider. Moments made extraordinary.
I love the Kalinago territory, I love the Kalinago people, and I really embrace my culture.
How the hell do we expect to survive as a communal society in a capitalist system?
We need to teach that history that have not been taught.
Hello. Welcome to the show. It is Monday. Ooh, let me fix my necklace. Whoosh. Welcome to the show. It is Monday. It is Monday evening, Monday, January the 20th, 2025. A lot of things happened today, right, guys? A lot of things happened today. 47 was sworn in today. Today's a big day. We got a big show. Get up for you. I see you guys. Come on, bud. Share the live. Make sure you hit that share button. Make sure you subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Make sure you follow if you've not followed yet. Like I said in my last, I believe, President Miss. Yes, I like that. Lionel say, President Miss. Yeah, I know my faithful followers. I know all you. I know and all you come in. Welcome aboard the Jael Joseph Live Show. I am excited to be presenting this amazing individual that's going to be coming on the show. I've known this person, my God, since my days at Q95, which was, I left Q95 in 2013. And I knew her before that. So, it's a long time, knowing this person and seeing their journey and witnessing it, in living color. In color and sometimes in black and white. And we're going to talk about the black and white. We're going to talk about the colors. But it's going to be an exciting show. I'm absolutely, she's one of these people she's younger than me, but I'm inspired by her. You can be inspired by younger people. She inspires me. I know she inspires many, many folks. I remember the first time I knew who she was. My sister actually went to school with her, and my sister's like, my sister right there, my sister is telling me that's her sister because they have same color eyes. The same color eye people. I don't know who pull them. Anyways, she's somebody that has been very influential in Dominica, and we're gonna talk to her. We're gonna find out about what is her story. Like, what is her story? We're not talking about nothing about her position tonight, there. So just give all yourself on the live, pull all yourself. I'll put all you outside. Nobody will ask me what is the date for Curl Festival. We should know that. Nobody will ask me the date for nothing. We are going to be talking to Marva Williams is on the show this evening. Welcome, welcome one and all to the show. Those of you tuning in, wherever you're locked in, let me know where you're locked in from. Let me know. I see folks coming in on Facebook. I see folks on LinkedIn. Good evening to you. Those of us in the US don't want to talk about that. I don't say I like that. She's like, we don't talk about that. Right? We're talking about a story. This is exclusive interview. I want to say hi, Kimmy. How are you, darling? Good evening to the folks out there on YouTube. Those of you on Facebook, we're on Black Island Girl Facebook page. And I want to encourage you guys, if you've not followed, make sure you go and follow the Black Island Girl Facebook page, the Jael Joseph Live page, because eventually we're going to integrate the show off this page into the Jael Joseph Live. I mean, we're growing. We're growing. So when we're growing, we got to be innovative. We're going to diversify. We're going to do other things and make way for other things. Boy, let me tell you, like, I didn't finish my introduction yet. Like, why we have so much people on the live? Like, don't I'm a historian. Good evening, folks. Good evening. Strictly positive vibes. Well, we're gonna be talking. I don't know if it's gonna be all positive, because positive has perspective, right? Right. So your perception of what positive might be negative for somebody else, right? We're gonna be talking about her life. We're gonna be talking about her childhood. We're gonna be talking about her guayes. We're gonna talk about her triumphs. We're gonna talk. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have her on with me here this evening. Emo, share it on your platform. Emo, I didn't get a chance to click on the thing. Emo, share it on your platform. Thank you very much. Emo is on the live. Big up to you, Emo News, one time. Emo News really rocked for the opening of Carnival. Let me tell you, Emo had the people in the band, in the thing. Everybody was still in it. Big up to you, Emo, one time. I see a lot of folks locked in. Giovanni's here, Florida. He said, locked in from Florida. Hey, all you have kids in Florida. Bon, Jay, all you have, just so snow. We're not going to fall in Florida. Watching from very cold New Jersey. Miranda is there. Bonsoir. Good evening to you, Francine. Welcome aboard. I see my partner is there. Silo is in the house. Big up to you. Love you, my darling. I didn't get no cool out. Man. Sasha, I don't know what you're talking about. Convince me. All right, guys. I'm seeing you coming on. Somebody said Jovan said he's freezing. Well, warm your balls tonight. We're gonna have a great show for you here. Georgie said I'm freezing. Jael, I'm freezing. I'm so sorry, guys. Watching with itchy eyes. Kimara, what happened to your eyes, itchy? Put some water in there. Wash it out. ATL is in the house. Brap. Okay. Like. We know Marva's gang is in the house. I feel like they form a gang and they come in. Who else is in the house? Let me know where you're tuned in from. I just want to say thank you very much to my sponsors. I want to say thank you very much to my sponsors, because you know what? Air is not what makes me come here. Air is a pas vent. This is a job. All right, guys, this is a job, and girlfriends got to get paid. And I want to say thank you very much to my sponsors, because they keep me doing this thing. They keep me going. They keep me doing it. And you too can support the vibe. Look, all the information on top. Support. You can do on Patreon. I want to say thank you very much to those of you who signed up to my Patreon. Let me tell you, I love all you, right? Like I love all you. Those of you who are on my Patreon, for $10 a month for my content, $10 a month. and they've signed up. Some people have signed up indefinitely, and they're helping to keep this alive. There's also more banking information for those of you in 767 and you want to donate. Although we all in the quiet together, but sometimes you can have an extra $5 that you want to send. It's up here as well. And for those of you on PayPal, no, I don't have Venmo, and I don't have what is the other one name? Cash App, but I do have PayPal. So you can actually PayPal. I really truly appreciate the love and the support. I want to also say thank you very much to my sponsors. I want to say in a special way, thank you very, very much to the National Cooperative Credit Union, which is my financial institution. They've been holding me down for quite some time. They support the vibes. They promote on the show. Beyond the Mortgage. I know the song 246. Wow. They have a promotion going on until the 28th of February. And you gotta invest in your credit union. It's your credit union. You can win when you purchase shares. For every 2+ shares, you enter into a draw. Referrals get a share as well. If when you refer somebody, and the referee will also be entered into the draw as well. They have monthly draws, but the grand draw is in March. But in all essence, they also have the Beyond the Mortgage. Beyond the Mortgage. They keep asking me to sing, but I don't know about that. Take advantage of all of the deals going on at the National Cooperative Credit Union. So I want to say thank you very much to them in a big way. I also want to say thank you very much to Caribe, because when we're not drinking tequila, we drinking Caribe. That's a point blank period per. All right. Thank you very much to Caribe for their support and their love. You can, they have the Caribe Rose. How many of you drinking Caribe? Put your hands up. Put your hands up if you're drinking Caribe. Let me know that you are a diehard Caribe. Let me tell you, Caribe is like the best drink right now in Dominica. One of the top drinks in Dominica. And I also want to say thank you very much to Asta fans. Right place, right price. Listen, sponsors are supporting. I also want to say thank you very much to Heal and Go. Big up to Gail Bruni out there in the US. You see, you can support too if you're in the US. She has a small business where she does hair and skincare products. You can purchase her hair and skincare products, natural. She has a really great line of hair and skincare products. You can check them out. So big up to Gail. You have a voice fit for singing. Georgie, zoteke, zokwe se mwezo kaife. I not in that. I don't know about the singing. I don't know about that. Big up to all of you. Jovan says he wants them to come. Hey, of course, Tara. Tara, present miss. We're there. If you are ready for the show, make sure you share the live. I want to say thank you very much to my gang, the people who've been supporting me through this. I want to say thank you very much in a huge way. I have like an executive assistant there. Let me tell you, thebomb.com. Okay, like putting these things together. I truly appreciate all of your hard work. Thank you very much, Samaj. Mommy Ivadne's in the house. My girl's in the house. Yes, I see you, my darling. Let me tell you, Caribe brought in what did we know? We brought in a drink, Prosecco, and I heard it's coming back. You gotta wait. It's coming back. Okay, guys, it's coming back. Judge said I can go for Calypso. Lady Jael, Foxy Jael. Foxy Jael are going to my boy, so they call me. That's they love me. Foxy Jael in the house. We're gonna get the show started. We have an exciting show for you guys, and don't forget also you can support. We know Black History. Those of you who support for participate in Black History Month. That's next month. You can support the movement. You can definitely support Black businesses. I am considered a Black business. For those of you in North America who recognize Black businesses, you can purchase my merchandise. It's available on blackislandgirl.com/shop. We got our mugs. Let me show you. We got our mugs. We got our t-shirts. We have mugs. A big mug too. Imagine them on top. amount of tea. That's a 16 ounce. Got it, sase boy. Right? We got our mugs, we got our t-shirts, we got our bucket hats. So um you can go and support Kathleen. Big up yourself. Go and support. And I mean, you might say Marva budget largement, but you can buy a t-shirt, buy a bucket hat, buy a cap, and wear your blackness with pride. All right, we're getting started. We're getting started. Marva, you ready? Marva, give me a thumbs up. Show me love you. You ready, Marva? Yes, you ready? You ready? I want to bring on Marva. I'm ready to bring on Marva on the live. Like I said, when I started, I've known Marva for quite some time. I've known her, and I've known her in different capacities, right? And we'll touch on all of those different capacities because I've actually interacted with Marva in every role she's working in Dominica, which is crazy. Like I'm just now thinking about it. And somebody say good, yeah, it's good for Starbucks. It's good for Starbucks. Georgie, go and support blackislandgirl.com/up. Marva is one of those people that will give it to you on the rocks with no chaser. No chaser. Like I remember interacting with somebody, uh, which I can consider that used to be a friend, and they said, "Me, that girl that working by DFC there." When you see I reach there, her face, that's serious. Let me tell you, when you see a festival come around, Marva was in the admin position. Like, I give you some jokes. Marva was in the admin position. And don't think you're getting nothing for free. Don't think. Listen, when you see you reach, and she knew. I don't know if it's because she from up South City. She have an extra, they say there's have an extra something on them from South City. They just know before it reach. She know only don't open. What you coming for? She already know what you coming for, and her face would give you the answer. What you coming for? Well, I want to welcome somebody I consider, to be a darling. She's somebody that I respect a lot. I've had a lot of respect for this woman. I respect her struggle. I respect her perseverance. I respect how much she loves her country. I respect how much she loves her people, even though sometimes they try and drag her. I respect how much she loves local. I respect how much she loves bouillon music. I respect how much she loves Vibes Cartel. Welcome, Mama. Welcome to the show. Hi, Mama.
Oh my, Jael, what an introduction. Good night, Jael.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Marva?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
This has been a long time coming. I think we have rescheduled this at least 5 times.
Probably. It's a couple years. It's been a couple years.
It's been a couple years. So, guys, I didn't just get her now as she is CEO. We've had to reschedule this show multiple times. And what I love is that I remember once I asked her, when you coming on my show, like the very first time, when you coming on my show, and she said, "You want me on your show, Jay? What are they gonna talk about?" And I'm like, "Are you what you're gonna talk about? You have so many things to talk about." And that was like probably at least 2 years ago because you were still the events manager at Dominica Festival. Yes, and now you are the CEO. And I asked you before that when you were at Digicel, and we had to reschedule. But it was always there's always the right time, and there's a time for everything. And I want to welcome you in a big way, and I want to publicly also congratulate you because it's not even a year yet. It's just been a few months since you have been since you've been the CEO of the director of tourism and the Chief Executive of, let me say, no acronyms tonight, Chief Executive Officer at Discover Dominica Authority. So I'm publicly congratulating you, giving you your flowers. You
Thank
complete.
you.
Let me tell you, if you see they didn't give you, well, you knew, you know how I felt, even when you through the process and everything. We ran into each other on the road and we were speaking, and I was like crying in public, like I was like literally crying because I understand your journey, and I don't consider us to be besties, but I feel like we've grown connected professionally, and I've looked to you for advice. You've also looked to me for advice, professional things, and then in talking, obviously we share our personal lives with each other. We don't pull up and hang out in. We've never actually, Marva, we've never actually gone out, so
And
that is
we should.
but we've always been just, and there are a few women I have like you who are we connect on a professional level because we are constantly trying to advance ourselves, but in so doing we also want to empower others, right? So that like-mindedness is what really brought us together, and I've seen you grown, and I really appreciate your journey, and I'm happy that you've allowed me the opportunity to share your story on my platform, because you are the epiphany. You are the, I don't know if that is the right word. You are just the type of person that when you came from the bottom and you built yourself to the top, and people, I'm shivering saying this, but people don't understand how much work that went into Marvel becoming who you are today. And I hope I hope I can do this justice. I can share your story, with the rest of the world in a real meaningful way, and people can be impacted by your journey, and people can understand a little bit about you, and people cannot just look at you when they see you and say, when your face serious, when you have your bitch face on, it doesn't mean that you're a bitch. It just means that you're serious about your business. Right?
Yeah.
Mama, you crying?
No.
I, I don't think you're story that tonight. There, we don't crying. Right? I want people to see who you really are. See you as the person I've seen you as, and how you've really grown. And I really want to start from this. I want to start from the start. I want to take it from the start and tell me a little bit about 6-year-old Marva Williams.
Oh boy, 6-year-old Marva. Hmm. I wonder if my cousins and them on the live, because they would give me those stories. I'm going to give you a story. And I probably was 6-year-old Marva. My cousin from England always, every time she sees me, like she looks at me and she tells me, you're like my daughter, and how she's so proud of me. And she goes back, she will tell her friends about that story. And one day she came from England and they were in the living room, and some movie was playing on the television, and my father was a stickler for rules. So when it's like 8:30, sometimes 8 o'clock, 9, he would tell you, oh, I don't mean a cabin, so like it's going and sleep in all your bed. And people are there, strangers are there. And she said, when he said, I'm going to sleep in your bed, I looked at him and I told him, I see the movie already. And I just pouted my mouth and I walked away.
He's
And
like, you're not going to take anything away from me, my brother.
that is
Don't
this is
put
one of
yourself.
the descriptions of 6-year-old Marva, who was, I've always been this young, witty, bright child, but very assertive and moody when I'm ready. So that's the first story that came to my mind that I could share
Oh
to
wow,
this.
that's a beautiful story. So folks might be wondering, where are you from? For people who don't know, where in Dominica are you from? In terms of the demography, I mean, sometimes we connect you to Grand Bay, but but you're not. Where exactly in Dominica are you from, and where were you raised?
I am from Pichle. Pichle is this tiny village. So there's Bellevue Chopin. After you come from Bellevue, there is Pichle. There is even another village after Pichle called Maranatha Square, which we consider part of Pichle, and then Granby. Oftentimes, when I'm talking about Pichle, and somebody will tell me, "Oh, is Granby self?" I tell them, "No, you have to pay $1.50 on a bus for you to get to Granby." So I'm from Pichle. I was born and raised in Pichle. I tell people I was raised in between two rivers, and that is what I've known for most of my life.
Wow. And when you grew up in Pishla, where did you attend school?
I attended the Pichle Primary School.
Mhm.
So if my guapjam is strong now, it's because in that same little village, Maranatha Square, we had to walk to school every day. And then I had to do the walk back and forth twice a day. So you walk to school in the morning, walk back in the afternoon, and oftentimes lunchtime you have to walk up the road for your lunch at 12 and make sure you have time, eat your lunch, and get back to school for 1 o'clock. Now and then you'd get a little ride, but we did a lot of walking in those days, and that's where I took all my schooling. Back then it was 6, 7 years of schooling. I only did six at the Pishnay Primary School.
Why only six? Why only six?
Well, because back in those days, when you were considered a bright child, they would skip a level. So
They
I
skip.
didn't go to the sixth grade. I went from the fifth grade to the seventh grade. Yeah.
I see. I see. So when you left Pishla Primary School, where did you go to next? Did you?
I went to the Pierre Charles Secondary School.
Okay.
And let me just say that my parents, my mother, she talks about it. They were telling my mother about sending me to the Dominica Grammar School. And my mother said, I looked at her and I tell her, oh, I don't want to go to the Dominica Grammar School. I want to go to at that time it was called the Granby Secondary School. And I suspect it's because I used to look up to my sister before me. She went to the Granby Secondary School. And then for some reason, I'm just guessing that is where I wanted to go. That is where I went. Yes.
Wow. So you wanted to follow in your sister's footsteps. What was your home dynamics like? Like how many siblings you had in your home growing up? Like what was it like?
Well, it was my siblings were basically spread around. I mean, my mother and my father together had four children.
Mhm.
But my mother has had three boys, older boys. They're much older than I am. Me
Mhm.
being the last child. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. All right.
Okay.
So they're much older than I am. But most of my upbringing was with my two sisters and my brother, my last brother, the sister before me, and the one before her. So my
Are
other
you like,
brothers, some of
are
them
you
were,
like the baby? The baby before the
yes,
baby.
I'm the baby. No, I am the baby.
You're the
I am the
baby.
last child. Yes,
So
I
you have
am the
last
baby.
child syndrome.
Yes, that's what they say. And then I had the older brothers, some of them who were overseas, they would come and go, and stuff like that. But in terms of my siblings, that was the dynamics. My sister was like my partner in crime, my sister before me, the good times, the bad times, the fighting, all that we went through growing up. Yeah.
Wow, that's a beautiful story. About your siblings. You were very close with your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your
Ah,
dad.
so I'm not going to paint the image like I had this amazing upbringing.
I
I did
know.
not. I can give you a picture of my upbringing. My upbringing, a lot of the times, was people gathering by the road in Pichle and looking at the theatrics that was happening at my home. So it would be my father in his alcoholic state, getting on, he making noise. He would drink his alcohol and do stuff. He and my mother in an opera. My mother self was this defensive lady when it came to situations like that, who would defend herself. And a lot of my upbringing was associated with that. But my father was a bright man. And we'll talk about my mother, I guess, a bit, but because you asked me about it, that man was an intelligent man. So when my father did not drink any alcohol, he was this quiet, composed person, slow to speak. You would say he Mongol. He goes to the garden. He spends most of his time in the garden. When he comes back, he had the shows, the old time shows he loved on the television, and he was all about the news, news, news. So you could go to that gentleman and ask him any question. And my father was one of those people who inculcated that thing about you have to get an education and go to school, and those types of things. So that is all we knew growing up, because he and my mother, they would talk about it. But my mother always says, for some reason, and she said that she would say, when I started growing up, according to how I'd react to her, and then if somebody would say something about my father, I'll be all defensive. And she would say, oh, since you're small, is your father you love? And stuff like that. But probably it could have been because of the last child syndrome. Who knows? But when my father was my father, he was always defensive of me. I remember my father would bring birds for me as a pet. My sister is on the live, she probably can remember. My father tried growing melon in his garden once, and I remember as a child he would bring the melon for me. He would bring the mangoes the birds bite on, and then he would wash it, cut it off, and tell us, "Oh, that's the healthy one you have to eat," and stuff like that.
Because that the birds want.
Yes. And then my father was so boastful of us, and even as we grew up and I started to do things, very boastful and defensive of me. But you know what was amazing about my father in comparison to a lot of other fathers who were capable? My father had his house and he had his gardens. And when I needed that man the most to help me to advance myself, he was present. He didn't tell me anything about, oh, you in a relationship or you have child or anything. That man was present, willing, and able to secure my student loan. I could come and I could tell him, I need $200. No, 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 and he would give it to me. Like I I probably was just the man's pride and joy after a while, because nothing was too much, and then he was just defensive of me. So in all the things that he went through, we went through with him growing up. That is something about him which is excellent that I have to talk about.
I love to hear that. Your story about your dad is so very similar to mine, and probably that's where that drew us together, because my house had a lot of drama too, a lot of chaos. The police would call a few times, and alcohol was also very much involved, and but when my father was sober, he was an angel. He could do no wrong, and so I really appreciate you talking about him, not hiding from who he was, but really showing the essence of how he was towards you, as a woman growing up, and being surrounded by him, and being nurtured by him. So probably I should ask you about your mom, because we don't want to leave out your mommy, because we know she's
My
on the
daughter,
line.
my brother she's there. My mother is superwoman. Is superwoman. That is how I can describe my mother. Imagine I look at my mother now, and I look at my mother. She's like 74 years, and I look at her and I say, but I used to think like my mother was just this miracle lady for us. Like she knew everything. She was jack of all trade, and my mother, the one of the best things I can say about her is she's a prayerful lady, and her hands are very open. And sometimes I say too open. She loves her family without a fault, and she over the years she has prayed, she worked, and she's taken care of her children and her family. And I often tell her sometimes I don't want to be like her, and then she just tells me it's okay. I did a lot for everybody. It doesn't matter if the people I did for don't know if I'm existing now, but my blessings are with God. So, and up till this day, my mother reminds me to pray, pray, pray. My mother will get excited when we do well and stuff. Every time my sister will tell me, "Oh, up till this day, if my mother hear you talking on the radio, her legs up in the air, so excited, and stuff like that." But my mother, that lady has the heart of a lion. Yeah, she
Wow.
has.
Wow, that's beautiful. Um, so I want to kind of get a sense of when you left um Pear Charles, well, at the time Granby Secondary School. Where did you go to next?
Okay, so I left high school as the valedictorian, Jael. I was 14 years old in fifth form, so I would have gone to high school at 9. When I had few months turned in 15, I graduated from high school, and I think a lot of pressure was on me because people saw my capabilities, when it came to education. But I hadn't gotten a chance, to be a teenager. And I must say, after I probably left high school, I got into my little, rebellious stage. And it's when I'm finding I'm going out and stuff like that, and viving. But I
Big
did,
woman, you big woman now.
big woman. That way me 15 years, but I finished high school, so I'm big. But
Hmm.
after I left high school, I went to the Dominica State College. I did the 2 years at the Dominica State College. So I was the first cohort for the Dominica State College.
Okay.
I remember, so we entered in 2002, and our first graduation would have been November 2004. So that's where I went afterwards.
Take at State College because what were some of the subjects that were interested to you at the time?
I had always wanted to do marketing at that time, but marketing wasn't offered as an option. So I opted to business administration. I can tell you, and if I am calling the teacher's name, Miss Abraham. I remember Miss Abraham because I loved her business class at college, and our lawyer there, may her soul rest in peace. When I would see her, she recently passed away. So condolences to her family. When I would see her, I would call her Miss. To this day, I loved her law class. There's Miss Dalrymple as well. Sometimes Miss Dalrymple would still call me, to come and do presentation. So those types of classes. And our CAPSEC now, she's currently the CAPSEC, Miss Prevo. I
Mhm.
loved her marketing class. So you see, I remember the names of the teachers because these are the classes that I really, really, really loved at State College. I also remember Mr. Martin because I'm not a math person, but I started to do a bit better in math in college. So, and I remember Mr. Martin, very, very encouraging. There was Mr. Volney as well. I probably remember Mr. Volney for other reasons, but these are some of the individuals I can associate and the classes that they taught that I really really like because I have always just loved marketing and a part of me loved the legal part, but I preferred the marketing more so.
Wow, wow, that's lovely. I like hearing about your teachers, and it's always good when we can remember our teachers, especially those that had the impact. I mean, and also
Yeah.
remember the ones that we didn't like for so many
Yes.
reasons. I can think of a few of them just off the top of my head that I
Mhm.
absolutely didn't like. So you completed State College, but what was the ultimate plan? What was your plan? Like I know when we go through high school, you know,
Mhm.
your parents will always ask, "What you gonna do now when you finish school?" Or people
Mhm.
in your community will ask you, "What you gonna do?" Oh, Saraseo avoka. People would say make those kinds of statements.
Mhm.
What did you want? I mean, you say you loved marketing, but what did you always dream that you would be, or when you finish school, that is going to be your dream job?
Honestly, I never really thought about a dream job per se. I recall since I was 9 years old, always doing my reading, I came across the term marketing and what it was. And I would just always tell my mother and my cousin, who my dearest cousin, who wanted me to be a lawyer so much, that, oh, I want to do marketing, and at some point I'm going to do mass media. Because even at that age, from reading in church and having conversations with people, and they always have to call you to do the thank you speech. People tell me, you're a good public speaker, you should go and do mass media, and those types of, that is what I always wanted to do.
Mhm.
But I didn't have a particular job per se. I think at some point in my life, that angel that walks with me just directed me to certain areas that just led to me achieving my goals,
Do you,
honestly.
do you also feel probably that there were nobody that you could look up to? Like, I mean, like, who really at the time was really doing marketing? Or, like, because marketing wasn't really a thing until like a couple years
No,
ago, right?
honestly, it wasn't. Like, honestly, it wasn't a thing. So when I would say it, I would not, it would not be like, the vibes would not be reciprocated. But for some reason, I just always wanted. I can remember what I read. I can remember I was 9, 10 years old. My mother, we used to have a lot of books, and I read something aligned with marketing, and I just maintain that is the thing I'm interested in. But there was nobody around me, who was into marketing. I mostly have teachers around me. My mother was a teacher. My mother taught from 14 years, for about 3 years. My cousin, who I look up to this day, she was a teacher. My sister before me was a teacher, at that time, and even now she still does lecturing. So these are the types of professions that were around me, and the nurses, and stuff like that. My godfather was working in youth division, and then the other part of the professions I knew was the markets. My mother would be was in the market for most of her life. Then she was the clerk of the village council. But it's not to say, and I don't know, I've just been that person. When I want to do something, that is what I want to do, and it
And
just
it really stuck. It really did stick. Okay,
yeah.
so you completed college, and for most people, at least middle class to upper class Dominicans, would the next step would be possibly university, especially if you have the means and the other ways in which like to get to university. What was that like for you?
At the time when I finished college, my mother had gone away for a few years, and I don't want to say I lost my way or I lost direction, but I had a few moments, in those times. At some point, like when I felt stuck. I remember I applied to be a teacher in the Granby Secondary School about 3 times. I was rejected. I remember key individuals meeting me and telling me, it's that person, and so that don't want to give you the job. Let me tell you the things I know, Jael, and I smile with people every single day. Like, it's not funny. Like, if God have to punish me for those things, He will not punish me for that. And like messages would come to me. And when I applied for the position the third time, because I wanted to try the teaching thing, I see
And
other
you
people.
were a valedictorian.
Exactly. And the gentleman just came, may his soul rest in peace, and he just told me straight up, such and such a person, that preventing you from getting the job. So I just forgot about it. And then I went through a moment, probably at the time I didn't even know it was depression. After that, the call 767 came into Dominic. I don't know if you remember that call center. So I applied. I went there. That is where I even started to own my speaking skills, and put in my little accents, but those people there were not really.
But
Oh,
Marva, I want to stop you a little while because you're talking to me, and I mean, the understanding is that you were this intelligent child who became, who fast tracked through high school, graduated at not even 15, and it blows my mind that you were not able to land, uh like, I mean, when we think of how the society is sort of, so, quote unquote, structured in Dominica, not just Dominica but in the Caribbean, when you complete high school, especially when you do well and you go to college, you end up in the banks, or you end up in the, like, you are like plus user shabbing, like, I mean, I have to say it, right? So you have certain things going for you, but it appears for me that you had a lot more going against you than for you. What would you say, what would you think, if you even know, could have possibly been, because I know some folks might say, oh, my, it's my, like people say, it's my last name, my last either Joseph, so they're not going to, they will not think of me, and people have gone through these things where favoritism, they've not had favor because of their last name or where they come from, or their family, their father not a doctor or this or that, or they don't have somebody to pull a string for them. What would you say was the issue? Or do you even know what?
Jail. All I can tell you is everything I have had to accomplish in my life from back then till now, it has been a battle. There's always my angels on the side of me, and then there's always probably the devil's angels fighting and attacking me. And it took me a couple of years to realize that, because me being rejected in that way, to be a teacher at the same high school I went, it started even when I was in high school. I remember I wanted to go up for teenage pageant badly. That time I used to do cut. I did cut for about 9 years. I only lost once to your sister. No, it wasn't your sister. It was what's her name? Not your sister. I can't remember her name. Your sister used to sing. So your sister and I used to sing together. But what's my friend name that she used to work in the bank? But anyway, so I used to do that. I was always willing to do things. But I think even because of my circumstances, how I raised up in an alcoholic home, noise. Some people deal with those things differently. My own probably was like the resting bitch face, and then I put up a defense mechanism. And it's not only that. When and in those days there, when I encountered people, I had more confidence probably when I on stage doing something than when I encountered people. People used to tell me how my neck long, how my mouth long, and how I ugly nice, like I was bullied to a certain extent, if I have to use that term now, in high school. And my defense mechanism, I put on a defense mechanism. So before you tell me something, I ready to put you in your place. And what kept me even in high school was to do well in school. And I can remember sometimes, I remember, oh boy, my sister gave me pants. It was a little too big for me. But I used to see children with all their nice clothing and stuff like that. And, I wasn't bothered about that. I had a cousin, Mrs. Coffee. She was a teacher at the high school. And when she had given me the look, and then I know my mother giving me the look, my father sent me school to learn. My focus was to learn. So I wasn't part of the clique of doing certain things people would have done. So I put on that front, and I think that carried with me to even some of the teachers, because a simple thing as wanting to go up for teenage pageants. I remember the term came back is, oh, I want to go up for teenage pageant for a while she on the stage for her to answer people if they boo her. And let me tell you, that hurts me, Jail. That had hurts me. I can remember I sit down and I cried because they told me, oh, you cannot go and sing teenage pageant, go and sing calypso instead. And then I just never, I would have participated in like the drama club and debating after that. Debating because of my cousin, the drama club because the man was a stranger from Africa who saw potential in me. And Carlton Henry, if he's on the line, he can just tell you, Mr. Playard liked me. So I felt comfortable. But I think those things, that defense mechanism and the thing where people maybe saying I'm moody and I quick to put you in your place, it could have been that. And yes, it could have been the who I am too, because everybody know my father always on the road thinging, and stuff like that. Like it's I was just a victim of my environment and my circumstances.
It's so sad to hear you talk about this because this is not just your story. This is the story of many young people in Dominica who don't feel like their village is necessarily there supporting them. It's almost like they're waiting for you to drag yourself in the drain. Like they're waiting for you to become your environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't expect much out of you because oh, Papa Ika home. So like you they don't expect you to amount to nothing. And as a result, that kind of hangs over your head. And sometimes people that don't even know your story, it's almost like you just automatically transmitting it to them without even knowing that you're transmitting that energy that people have forced on you
Mm-hmm.
because of the environment you come from, and they treat you poorly because of that. And it's sad to hear that you are actually struggling to find a job.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you're out of college, and you end up at that call center that obviously help you if you're yanking.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Maybe this is Marva Williams calling from product design and development. I can still remember.
what was that like for you?
It was a good experience. I create some good friends there. I mean, not die hard, but we still talk. There's one of them. She's a lawyer now, and the other day we met up, and we said, you can remember when we were at call center. They were taking our money, and then we have to be, and then look at us now. So we created some good relationships from that. Yeah, it
That's
was simple.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So what happened? How did you end up at well, it wasn't DFC. That was it DFC? Yes, it was DFC.
Well,
So
yeah, it was
yeah,
DFC
yeah,
on the
it was
NBC. Yes.
yes. So how did you end up working at the government? Like how did you end
Yes.
up there?
So, well, actually, at the time, it was the Carnival Development Committee on the DFC, on the NDC. I can remember that after I came from the call center, I stayed at my home for months. And then on the 22nd of January 2006, I get a phone call from my cousin. Okay. So, my cousin is married to Val Coffee.
Mhm.
So Val basically raised me up as a child. So they knew my capabilities, and stuff like that. They knew my level of brightness. And then my cousin told me, Val is working in the carnival office and he needs like a secretary. And she said, Val, sit down, they're trying to figure out who is the best person that they know that can come. And then they told me, I need to come the next day. Jael, first of all, I didn't know what I was going into. I didn't know it had nothing to do with carnival. I just didn't know. All I know is two people that I raised up with that I looked up to called me and told me about a job I'm going. The problem was I had gold braids. So in my young days, I loved putting the long gold braids. You plait it in free, put the ends into long, 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 all the way there. And then it wasn't as fresh as it's needed. And it was darkness already when I got that phone call. So see me going berserk trying to figure out how it is that I'm going to present myself because I don't even know where I'm going. Anyway, I got up. I had one blue and white suit in my wardrobe, and I went. And that was another hurdle for me because when I entered the doors of NDC, I had to go to NDC before I go to the carnival office. And the people that were there saw this slim girl, very meg at the time, gold braids in her hair, wasi, and whatever. They judged me, and that was it.
Wow. When you say that was it, what was
I I went through that first week. You could see the glances, the way they were looking at me. I would hear the little whispers and stuff, cock up their nose, and those I don't I remember all those things there. But I came, I went through the process. I went to the carnival office. At some point, I was able to, present myself. I did about 6 weeks there. I remember doing filing for the department from since 1996. I remember having to do minutes of meeting, and man in the office. I can even remember one day somebody came and they told me, "Who write the minutes of that meeting?" I told them, "Me, let's me, you can write the minutes of that meeting." I was like, "Yes." So I went through those types of things. I gained that is where I started to gain some of my long-term friendships. So I met Mrs. Jacqueline Davis there. That lady embraced me like I was her daughter. I met Mrs. Marilyn Charles there. Marilyn just used to tell me, "Don't worry with them, my child." Like Marilyn too had taken me on the wing. And Marilyn just used to tell me, "Don't worry." And then Mrs. Christian was the HR at the time. And because of how I did, how I performed and stuff like that, Mrs. Christian made the recommendation to keep me as a clerk typist. And that is how I entered into the whole realm of DFC and stuff like that.
Wow. Well,
Yes.
you entered in the realm and you became the gatekeeper of the door. Because for many people, when they would come through, you were the first face
Mhm,
that they saw. And
mhm.
the, and you, like I said in my introduction, we knew you knew what we were coming for when we walked through that door. You
Yeah.
could sense from a distance. I remember coming for press passes, and as I walk in, you have like, "Look." I'm like, "But so I cannot ask a question. Nothing, but is that you come for?" So you became somewhat a gatekeeper. What was it like, working, and how long did you work in that position, like before you were able to advance? What was that like, first of all?
So I stayed at some point. DFC was moved from NDC into the financial center. I think that was the same year. So I probably remained in that clerk typist position for about 6 months to a year probably, and then I was made the receptionist and then like the receptionist secretary. And I was just at the front doing more than just the receptionist secretary, but I was actually learning and nurturing my skills on the Val Coffee at the time, who had become the executive director of DFC. So it took me about a year to move from clerk typist into that receptionist secretary position.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why did you stay? Because you could have applied in, because now you're learning things and you have something on your resume, and so often that is just what we need, eh? Something
Mhm.
on the resume to say nusa fesa, we can do this. Why did you stay, and why did you stick around and didn't apply elsewhere to?
Actually, I did apply elsewhere. I would have seen things and applied for it. Again, I get again back in those days. I guess it was a name thing. Not only that, I would have reached out to key individuals and say, "Hey, I had a given scholarship for me to go China. May I?" And never get a thing back. But I was comfortable in the environment I was at the time, and then the job became exciting for me. So at some point, and I think it was, I did the World Choir Music Festival with the team in 2006, but I still didn't understand yet. I was still young and naive. The Friday night of festival, people working, Marva come with her little short skirt and her little crop top, and enjoying herself. I still hadn't, for me, I do my work during the day, enjoy myself. But then as I went along, and I started to understand the process more, working with different people, I started to be like, yes. And then I realized, I'm good at that. And I started to adapt to the process of event planning. And I just figured, you know what? That is it. And then I just left everything and started to own my skills, to the point where I would say I probably well became like the personal assistant to the EDs that were there at the time. And then at some point, I believe it was in 2014 or 2013, the role of events assistant was created. and it was actually me. I remember one day the person who was in charge at the time came and they told me, "Oh, you need to smile more." And the job I was doing is not a sit down and smile job. There's pressure in events planning. Pressure, you have to deal with all kind of personalities. So imagine somebody has to do a receptionist work and still have to do all those things. I couldn't. And then I, boy, I told the person, both me and you need to learn to smile a little bit more because the stakeholders are saying are saying that you're not personal. But in any case, sir, I do not believe that what I am doing there is the job of a receptionist secretary. I think you should put me in that office there and change my position.
Hey,
And then I guess conversations were had, and I was placed in the office and then made the event assistant. That is how that position came about in the department.
you fool say amepui and and so you see, so your resting bitch face paid off. What was it like being in that position? Like, what was the experience like? Because you say that that's when things became very exciting for you. You know,
Yes, because the ED again, which was Val at the time, he was allowing me to do stuff. So I could speak Creole. The French media would come. He would tell me, he knows Creole, but he's not as strong. So I would be the one entertaining them. And that is where they knew me from up till now. When they see me, is hugs and kisses. So he would make me speak Creole. He would tell me go and do the press conferences, make me give, little speeches at the press conferences. Then he and Joe and they would sit down and tell me, okay, you have to emphasize on that less, do that a little bit more, and stuff like that. And then I just like the adrenaline of planning major events. And what brought me the satisfaction was when people were saying, yes, I enjoyed that and I love that. And I don't know, I just liked it. And then I started to, become more intertwined with the bouillon and dealing with the artists. I just like the vibes. Like I just like the vibes and the satisfaction that entertainment brought to the table, and that I was one of the persons being the driving force behind just making people happy. And I don't know, I just found it as my comfort place. I mean, it's not to say it was all bright and dandy. I still had to navigate the hurdles of being judged, in terms of my personality, and people always thinking they know what I'm thinking, or, people giving a meaning to my expressions. I had to navigate that, but at the end of the day, I loved it.
and obviously it showed. It definitely showed that you loved it. I want to go to the chat a little bit because people have been commenting and people have been saying a million and one things, and I don't want to completely ignore them, and we're not ignoring you. It's just the conversation is flowing, so we are definitely engaged. And I want to kind of pull up some of the comments that folks are leaving behind. And I will probably pull up my sister first. And she says, I recall working with Marva, good times. She's no nonsense person, so deserving of her position. My sister is like always in my, and I know you have a very similar relationship with your siblings, your sisters especially. You've always had a very, very close relationship with them. um Jovan says, I really appreciate the creation of that position. Yes, Jovan, we know. Because you eventually became the events assistant. I just want to go back because a lot of I saw your sister on, and I'm trying to pull her up. Shara is saying, no Marva, no vote. Shit. By haters, your sister was amazing. Loved her. Blessings, my girl. Stay strong and keep shining bright. Um, and that's to sharing about your late sister who passed away very recently.
Mhm.
We have somebody here. Melta is saying, no, oh gosh, I pulled up the wrong one. Melta is saying, I can relate to her story, experience similar as a young employee working for the government. We can trade notes. God had a better plan for your life, and here you are. Shine on. Right? That's from Melta. Annika is saying, that's a common story indeed. Just last weekend at a progressivism event, a panelist spoke about the same issue they had to overcome. We are suppressing our biggest talents, when these things happen. So it's not a an uncommon thing. Your sister who's on the live, I have to bring her up. Oh no, up to this day, if you meet someone from where you were, from where you're from overseas, and you hear how they speak about you, I sometimes say if you had to ask Dominicans for background check, you could reach nowhere. That's what your sister is adding to the conversation. Caesarina Paul is saying stigmatization and discrimination, society that enjoys and gets pleasure in shaming. And that is so very, very true. Like we really take a lot of pleasure, and that is something that even after you jump through so many different hurdles to get to where you are, you still have to jump through society's hurdles that they've created for you, because you have your own little oppression that happens within your own home circles. But then that comes as an added, burden, that comes with it. And so definitely shouting you out and saying that you're a strong woman. And the comments are coming. I see Ivadne is there as well. Marva, there's turning back. The sky is the limit for you, my girl. Folks are definitely sharing love for you. I'm happy I got to experience Marva as a teacher for digital marketing at UWI. You're a light, Marva. We love you. You're an amazing parent. You're such a powerhouse. That's from your former student, one of your former students, who's sharing with you. Folks, I'm gonna try my best to pull up as many as I can. And I will let you know if you want to have your comments. Wait till I tell you, because when they get lost because there's so many of them coming. So I will say, when I say I'm going to go to the live, you can just hit the comments, as we continue the conversation, because we understand that a lot of folks are on the live, and we really want to. I don't want us to be here because we can be here till midnight. Um, Especially with the background information I know, and especially knowing Marva has such a rich so much information, right? We want to definitely tailor it to where we think is most relevant when it comes to parts of her life. Marva, I want to talk a little bit about your children. Um,
Oh, yeah.
talk a little bit about your children. You now have three, but
Mhm.
for a long time we knew you as having two. You just
Mhm.
recently had a baby.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about being a, because I know at one point you were a single mom. Tell us
Mhm.
a little bit about what that was like for you.
So I had, if I could give the joke of my first pregnancy, I had got up for the Miss Dominica pageant, right, in 2008. And again, I went with all the obstacles. I did that pageant. I'm a person that when you say I want to do something, I know the negativity is there, but I have this way of just blocking it. And I said I'm going to do that pageant. And I remember a week before the pageant, a couple days actually, I was very sick, throwing up. I have the flu. I dying. Night of Queen Show reach. I don't have voice. They pumping me with medications. Wondering what happening. Couldn't go and walk in town. People thinking it's because I didn't win. I not going to walk. I'm sick. And then I remember a week after the pageant, when carnival was over, I went to the doctor. And I'm trying to figure out. And lo and behold, here comes the first fruit of my womb. And even with that, I got a lot of adversity. There were points where I was told I wouldn't get my payment for coming out second runner up. Some people gave me the advice to, you know,
Get
take
rid of.
the
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But I walked. I'm and I have a habit of doing that. I walked through the streets of Roseau for 9 months in that same 2008, and 9 months later I had my boy, and today he's 16 years old. And the father and I, we didn't stay that long after I had him. So a lot of my struggles, and he's a boy, he's my only boy, but I oftentimes get defensive of him, like Jael, like pray the child. Like if I'm in my office and somebody come and tell me, look, somebody trying to hit my urge or do something, like I have to control my mind and my emotions. And I think it's because that young boy went through the struggles with me. He went through the struggles with me. He came at a time when things were not flourishing for me, when I really wanted to go to study. So I went to the Miss Dominica pageant to see if I could get, but I didn't get it. So I had to stay back a couple of years, and go through the process with him. And today, we've been through it. But I love my son. He loves football. He's one of the top footballers in Dominica, by the way. Goalkeeper, Mayo. And we're here. It hasn't been easy. I had to structure everything I did when it came to him. So I think in the first 5, 6 years, when it was only him, he became spoiled a bit to a certain extent. But we progressed. And to this day, I look back on myself, even when he probably doesn't make it to a team, or he didn't score a goal, or he missed a goal. I tell him, my boy, don't worry with that. You have to go through those adversities in life. Look at your mom, and how much. Look at where I'm at today. So yeah, that's
Yes,
my
that's beautiful. And then you have your daughter. Well, then you had your daughter who's now 11.
yes,
Um, Tell us about her.
yes.
Can you tell
So
us, give us the highlights of the boy? You have to give us the highlights of the girl too. Eh?
well, the daughter, Mrs. Modi, came in 2013, and I think she just came out of me as the sophisticated child. And if I tell you that child never pick up something on the floor to put in her mouth, honest to God, that child was a year walking, going on 2 years, and the child so had a heighty tighty ways in her. When she wanted to poop, she would tell you, she would cry for you to put the pamper on her. She would, do her number two, and then so come to look at you for you to clean her. And I remember at some point when she was 2 years old, I said, Makena, you have to learn to go in the bathroom, and wipe yourself like we can. And then it took us early though, like she had that kind of so she
Quiz
still,
day.
yeah, someone there, and then she still has that kind of a diva personality in her. She's shy, but when she's in her room, she likes to comb hair. She likes her different hairstyle. She loves nice things, and then they're just different children.
Wow, wow. And then you recently had a baby.
Yes.
And Mava, I remember, I remember, I remember how that one came about, and how you were so surprised. You didn't want to tell me, but I knew. And most people are always surprised that I know when they're pregnant. But because I, in my first life, and I say because I've lived a few lives, I was a skin therapist and a massage therapist. So I can tell I'm very close spiritually, and I can tell when people are carrying how they, and it's not even a physical thing, it's more a spiritual thing. And I remember you being pregnant, and when you talking to me, and I say, you are set though, and you said, "Sure, I'm not pregnant." And then you found out that you were pregnant, and I'm sure you probably thought I put fear on you, but you were already way pregnant, way. What was it like having your last one? Because I know she's
She's
you
a handful. She's a
reincarnated.
handful. It was I just accepted it at that point. I accepted. I was like, you know what, whatever. And then I looked at my son and I said, you better come out same color with me, child. Make sure you take my eyes. Just be a replica of me. And when that child came out, I'm looking for the blue eyes. The child had the audacity not to. So she took the skin color and stuff like that, but like none of the children took my eyes. And I'm always saying, okay. And then I just tell people, you know what? The boy is going to be the one to make all the little girls who looks like their grandmother. But that little one, she's very close to me. And oftentimes they say that girls are closer to their father, but her father and I will be right there. And then she will stick on me, cry on me. You witnessed it tonight, there. My daughter had to fight with her to take her away. She's a very bright child. She knows everything. She loves food. She eats anything. She eats vegetables, carrot, tomatoes, cucumber, like anything you give her, she will eat. And then I think she knows she's the smaller one in the house, so she's just demanding. And right now she's in her crying for everything stage. And I just look at her and I tell her, you know, by the time your brother and sister, when they were your age, they used to get couple slaps. And I tell her, for some reason, I not yet rich to give you that slap, but I'll give you a hard slap one of those good days. And then she just looks at me like, and she does that, you know, folds her arm, and I'm like, you know, so yeah.
Wow. Wow. I love to hear you talk about your kids. We've had a few conversations about your kids, you know, um, and and their growth, and you know, just you're such a loving mom. And I see people on the live, you know, talking about that. You know, when I know when your son, whenever your son is not doing too well, you shut down, like you completely like you just like Jael, I cannot talk about that. No, no, I have to go check my child. You know, you are very, very a very loving mom, you know, and it's very obvious. I know the people around you witness how much of a loving mom you are, and we could not touch on that. At some point, Marva, you decided to that you were ready to make the move and go to study.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
That happened in boy, about studying. Let me tell you, I have this cousin, eh? She's probably on the live. Joanne, are you there? And I tell people there are probably angels that you don't see, but there do. Joanne is my bee in my every single day. And for years, you know, she's been telling me that. So in 2014, same thing about adversity and you know people just judging me and like is everything if something happens then I get the fault. If somebody probably comes and they insult me, I get the fault. And then I remember it's always people around me who want to give me a position. I must say that there are people around me who always think. And in 2014, when Natalie Clark was the director at the time, she left. So there was no director. And my friends around me, people around me tell me, you know, apply for the position, apply for the position. I only had a college degree. And I remember I applied for the position, don't know what happened there. A lot of feedback came back to me, or you don't have a degree, or she has an attitude and stuff like that. And my cousin was just, and I one day I said, you know what? I just got up and I said to myself, I don't know, for some reason I'm always pointed to it. Actually, I was having a conversation with somebody who had just came to study, and she was telling me about Florida International University, and I just applied. And I remember getting that acceptance letter, not telling too many people, and I started to make movements and stuff like that. And then is when my father, you know, my father came on board full force and tell me anything for you, Zafa more, you know, and my cousin, that person helped me to secure my student loan, and we did that, and I went to the government and I just started to put, and by that time I already had my two children. And I said to myself, nothing is going to stop me from getting this degree because it is long overdue. And I just up and left in August of 2015.
Wow. And I mean, you did this, but you did it quick. you did
Very,
ev- you did it
very.
quick because most people will go to university and they'll probably do 4 years. Some people do 3 years. Um, but you had a lot of other things on your back because the cost of going to university, having two small children, you
Mhm.
know, and how quickly did you finish?
So my degree was a 4 year, 4.5 year degree. Um, but I did it in 2 years. And what I did when I started
Breaks. Are you messing around with mama? Are you messing around with mama? With two children.
yeah,
Two
yeah.
children, and people don't understand. Like people see all the glitz and all the glam and all the glow, all the thing, but they don't understand the quiet. The
Mhm.
quiet. Right? What did you do to finish in 2 years?
So I had left the children home with my family, but all that was on my mind were my two children. I need to go back home to my two children. So I got the study leave, I got the support. And then I remember getting to the university, and certain things I've done at college, they telling me I have to redo it. And I went to my advisor and I negotiated. And I told him, no, I'm not doing marketing 101. I've been working in this department doing X, Y, and Z. And I started to show him my resume. And I told him, no, I speak some French, and I showed him and then so a lot of the smaller things like that came off, but I still had to do 2.5 years. So I scheduled myself. I was fully focused on doing that degree. I started by doing 5 classes, and when I got my A's and stuff like that, and they understood I came to play Jael, I was doing 6 and 7 classes per semester, including the summer semester. And if I wasn't a hairdresser before in those 2 years in Miami, I became a hairdresser. I put weave, I put braids, I comb natural hair. I did what I have to do for me to survive. God bless my sister. My sister, she too was going through her own little struggles in Atlanta, but she did what I had to do. So all my family, everybody would do what was necessary. And what happened is God blessed me for those 2 years. I met a group of young girls who were younger than me. The first one I met, we were living with this white couple, very white couple who thought I came from the woods. And I had to explain to them Dominica is not some strange country where we ride horses. We actually have vehicles. I remember having to explain that to them. And after the first semester, we had to move, and look at me trying to figure out we have to move, where am I going to live in? But thankfully, let me tell you that I like to cook. I was cooking. Praise God, I used to check that them two ladies I lived with cooking, and one of them came to me and she told me, no, we're getting this house and stuff like that. All we have to just go to church. She used to go to church, and then I got to go to that house. The rent was much, much less. I would go to church, participate. It was a Methodist church, I believe. And then I met those sweet ladies, Kafiana, Jueli, Neftali, my teddy bear, and so on. And that was just Tamanisha. Tamanisha didn't live with us, but I have to call them by name. That was a blessing in disguise. At some point, I had 5 vehicles at my disposition. So at some point, I used to pay Uber so much they monitored my movements. And then Neftali would just come and tell me, "Girl, you weren't taking Uber today," and she would just give me the keys for the car. Tamanisha would go away to New York for the summer, and summer was like 3 months. So for 3 months, I have a car. Like my teddy bear, which I call her, she would drop me to school. And then that was just a community that I built there, and that is how I survived those 2 years. They would help me study, like they would look at me, stay up with me, talk to me, and tell me like how are you doing 6, 7 classes, and I was able to finish. I had a little algebra mess me up a bit, but I did graduate cum laude, however it is said. And then I returned home. There was still like family members who had to do me favors when it came to the paying the student loan, and some of which I'm still paying. I did get support from the government, so I should mention that. But it all in all, it was just a struggle. I remember reaching a boiling point of tears, because how am I going to? I did not have the money to do the last semester so I could go back home, and then God worked his miracles, and I survived. Yeah.
People are loving your story. People on the live, they're like, I can listen all night. I can listen. Zokwe no anymore. But I can talk to Marva forever. Every time Marva and I speak, it's not often. It's always long. As a matter of fact, we say no WhatsApp does cut us off. WhatsApp does cut off the conversation.
Yes.
Marva, you came back to Dominica, and I feel like you came back on a mission
Mhm.
because you know And I share, that is a story that I share with you. You know, when they tell you, oh, you don't go school for that.
Mm.
Or you don't go school. You know,
Mm,
they tell you that although you show how competent you are, and you're
mm,
able to write the proposals, and you're able to do the work and do it even better than them, you are told that you're not good enough.
mhm.
But when you have that paper, like that paper becomes like a weapon of mass destruction.
Yep.
It's like nobody can come and tell you nothing. Like for me, like nobody cannot come and tell me, don't tell me my price is high. Don't tell me nothing, because you don't understand the struggle and when you get that paper in your hand. Mama, when you came down with that paper, what was your next move?
Well, my next move was to manage the department. Obviously, that is what was in my mind. That is what motivated me to go. And I didn't resign from the job. I took study leave. So obviously, I came back to the job. Lo and behold, a month later, after I came back, here comes Hurricane Maria. So that just stalled all the process. I believe at that time Val was consulting in the position, and Hurricane Maria came on the 18th of September, and Hurricane Maria halted things a bit. So where I'm sitting now, Jael, was I came back home for about a month. I did my cleaning and stuff like that. And that weekend, I finally, settled down, moved back in with my father. And then Hurricane Maria just came. And my children, my boyfriend, and my father, and I literally, at some point, I had just accepted, we were going to die. And I told my two children, stand up next to me. And that was it. A month later, after I came from studying.
Wow. Wow. You went through that. Maria was a trauma, or placed a lot of trauma and pressure on people. You expected that when you come back, you'd come back and everything would go back to at least some form of normalcy, where you were able to work and take care of your children. You were happy to be back with them. But then Maria
Yeah.
happened, and you you had a near death experience with
Hmm.
Maria.
Yep.
What
I
was it
remember.
like? Okay.
I don't know. I've same thing going back to loving my father so much. Like my father, I know my father missed me. You know. So we're there, and I'm saying, but daddy, we need to go and whatever. He tell me, oh, he just fixed his roof. We're not going anywhere and stuff like that. And then for some reason, I have the two children there with me. I had packed. And then I remember hearing this loud noise. And when I went to the kitchen, I said, Daddy, there's no roof in the kitchen. And it's then, he telling me, okay, let's go. When I come to open the front door, I just saw water passing through the house start just started filling up with water. So I'm telling them the house filling up with water, and then at a rapid rate, that house was filling up with water. And then at some point, instantly, from what I can remember, I saw my couch floating, my television floating, things floating. I have my little girl on me, my son, I have to try, and it was his birthday, September 18th. I have to put him, and stuff like that. I'm holding him. The little girl father, he's going berserk. And then my father there, I remember that man trying to break one of the walls, so the water can come out, and I seen he's struggling. So I'm saying in my mind, if the water is on the road, we still have a river at the back of the house. Like, and I just watched him, and um, I told him, but daddy, leave the wall and come and stand up by me, because honestly, at that point, I had just, and I remember my little girl told me, she's on me crying, crying, and I told her, shh, stop crying. She told me, mommy, God can stop that way. Just like that. Honestly, would I tell her, yes, God can stop that. But if it's God's will, what can we do? And I told her, hush, and I put her to lay down. And then I don't know, at that moment, her father turned and her father told me, like he was like, what is here in there? And like why I just and I just they're like, what do you want me to do? I have to hold McKenna. McKenna is a child. Myoja was turning 9, and fighting. I have to keep holding McKenna, and then I don't know what the good Lord did. I don't know what that good Lord did to contain that water. I don't ask me how we passed through the window. Don't ask me how we passed through the little house, and then we got to the next house with the Chinese window and everything. And Jael in about 5 minutes, standing in the veranda because he has the Chinese. Them tell them Chinese thing they're powerful. That's why he has it all in the veranda. I literally was standing looking at the river like that.
Wow.
And all I was just doing is telling the children to go to sleep and waiting for day to come. Waiting for day to come. I heard the wind speak all kind of languages, waiting for day to come, waiting for day to come because my mother and them, I want to go up the road. And when everything settled down and I woke up, I just saw a debris. Imagine we had a CRV and the CRV was all the way. We were looking at it like a mountain. It was on top. It didn't go. It was on top of that mountain of debris, and it was just debris, debris, debris. And as soon as I woke up, well, I never slept when everything cleared down, and then we could go out. I went up the road, and my sister Laura, my sister Laura said, "We, Papa Monday." My mother said, when Laura heard the river burst from on top, she just fall down and tell my mother, "We, Monday, Marva," and then Marva died on the road. So when she saw me, it was like a breath of fresh air.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Wow. And then you have to rebuild.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I probably stayed couple of weeks. I was a little bit scared for my children, but the children were fine. All after the hurricane, they were in the river. Up till now, do not ask me to go to the river like that. I'm fearful. I'm not too busy to go to the river. I had just remained in this quiet and composed thing. I'm not even going to talk about the 2 weeks I couldn't cross to Gorozo that they wanted to take from my vacation that I had to say no for when I finally got to work. I just sat down and said, look at what Maria just did to me. I just came from school, literally took everything my children and I had. I sat down in the river for about 3 days of washing, and after that, some of the clothes on them, I still couldn't use it because the smell of the mud and thing was in there. And, you know, sometimes in life, you just have to give God praises that we were able to cross that hurdle because it was bad, but we survived. Praise God.
What was your time like as the festivals and events manager? What was that like? What was that experience?
Festival and events manager. So after Maria, I was sent to Japan for 6 weeks to do some marketing program. And then while I'm in Japan, I'm being told that my office was moved. And oh, by the way, I'm the acting festival and events manager. I said, really? Like that? And they said, yes, I knew nothing about that. And then I was appointed from the 1st of March. Just like that while I was in Japan. But anyway, I took the position by the balls. It was a struggle for me again, still a learning process because right now you are the manager, certain things you have to do. I remember doing the first jazz and creole in 18 days. I remember doing the 2018 World Korean Music Festival, not full force as I wanted to because I was like, still treading lightly. I don't want to overstep my boundaries and stuff like that. And then here comes 2019. 2019 was a year. The start of 2019 was a ridiculous year. But I remember going into the 2019 World Korean Music Festival with, I think I had a fuss for that particular year because of certain circumstances. I told my team when I went back to work, I said I want my same team I had from the year before. And my first speech to them was, when you see we are done with that 2019 World Choral Music Festival, it will forever remain etched on the tongues of individuals. And the rest was history.
And it did. It definitely did. You definitely made a mark in 2019. For sure, I remember what you were wearing. I remember seeing you crossing up. Like I remember because I that year, and I just remember seeing you. One of the things that I want to, I want to, really thank you for, Marva. And I might get emotional about this. I'm getting emotional, so I'm taking a pause. So, you are one of the people who nobody could tell you no when it comes to me and MCing. Like nobody, and probably people don't understand. Like it's not even a friend thing. It's a professional thing because, like, I've spoken to you about my process. Like I don't treat anything that I do diligently. I don't treat it as if it's a fly by night. Like I just doing it. Like I am very intentional. So if I'm going to MC, I've spoken to you about that. I take into consideration what I wear. I'm very like I spend time on it. I will do my research on the artist. I will do all of the things that come with it. Even my clothes and making arrangements for my mic and all of these different things. And I think unknowing to me you were taking all of that in, and even I think this is the only time that I will publicly say this. Like I remember the chaos that happened backstage. People didn't know the chaos that was going on backstage, and how you know what was happening. People were being told to get off the stage, and that was, artists have certain requirements, and I remember, people were left, like the other MCs that were MCing with me, they left. They were angry. The DJ left. He was angry. Um and I said to both, it was you, I remember it was you, it was Mr. It was Colleen Piper, and it was somebody else. And I'm like, you know what, I will wait. Whenever you're ready for me, I am right. And I literally pointed where I was going to be standing, and waiting. And I watched, the duration of the performance. And after I came back, and I didn't realize that people had left, and they were not coming back. And this is the only time I'm going to speak about it, because I remember getting called about it after, and people saying, you want to come and talk about it publicly? What happened? And I was like, for me, it was show business. I
Yeah.
felt that this was whatever. I am not the artist. What I make in the one night, they make what I would probably make in 5 years in one night. All right. You cannot, it's not, you can't compare. You cannot say you're so much of that you have to, you have to be respected. The artist is the artist, and you just have to roll with the punches. And
Yeah.
I remember, and Mr. Hyacinth can vouch for that, taking my phone and plugging it in, and festival was listening to me. They were listening to a playlist, and they didn't even realize that they were listening to a playlist, from my phone, because I went and I got a playlist, and I think it was that moment, and I don't know if that was the moment for you, but in terms of our professional relationship, where it really blossomed. I remember, Mr. Piper, calling me after and saying, thank you, Jael, for staying, and for, and people don't understand that. And when people look at me today and they try and tell me, oh, who fool you? You're this MC, and I know what I do, and I feel like we connected so well on this. And but it's not just me, Marva. You've done this for, like, you fought for a lot of other artists. You fought for a lot of like tooth and nail. You fought for people to get paid what they deserve. You fought for people to get placed on stage. You fought, and I know, not from even your mouth, I know it from people coming back and saying, well, it's not from Marva, I not there. I remember specific artists coming and saying, they didn't want me to do this and they didn't want me to, how can I perform on playback? Like that doesn't make any sense. And Marva's like, no, this is what you're supposed to do. And you've really advocated for people. And I think like for somebody like me, I would démanger somebody if they come for you. I've told you that. I've told you that publicly. I've said that privately. I've said, because I understand how much you've fought for people like me to have a place, and I want to give you your flowers because we do not do it enough, and I want to tell you thank you for every consideration that you've given to me. I want to tell you, I truly appreciate, and you're not looking out for me for friend. You're looking out for me because I am a professional in a certain profession and I value what I do, and you respect what I do. And as a result of that, you can vouch for me because I'm not gonna do no koshoni. I'm not going to mess up. Like you can leave it in my hands, and it will be taken care of. And I just really want to tell the rest of the world how much I appreciate you. I appreciate your role when you were FEM, and how many times I remember you called me and I was in Canada, and you were like, I want you to MC, and he said, don't worry about anything, we need you to MC, and you've advocated for so many of us. And I know people are on here and they can agree, they can attest to that. And I just want to tell you, regardless whatever happens tomorrow, I just want to tell you, but I just telling people too, I will démanger somebody for you. So if I démanger, you just know why, right? I truly appreciate you, and the work that you've done, and how much you really fight for your people. You've never become pompous. You've never walked around like you're big and walking the door. Like, I mean, you are not, you're a CEO, and you still like gangster, like gangster mama. You like you're just so down to earth and still so sweet, and you'll still make your cautionary jokes, and you'll still like, it's not even, you don't say, oh, I am CEO, and now my shit smells like roses. You've always remained so down to earth. Sabrina is on the live. You moved on, Sabrina, from Digicel. You made such an impact to people. When you moved to Digicel. And even when you met me at Digicel. I was an influencer. And you said, Jael, you should be an ambassador. Why are you just an influencer? And like you've really and it's not because I asked. I never asked, and I just, it's not about me. What was it like for you, moving to Digicel, being the marketing manager? Because you left DFC, and you're like, yes, I'm gonna manage Digicel, Dominica. And the
So after the pandemic, my next thing again, I had my cousin in my ear. So, Mama, you're not going to do your masters. Boy, Joanne, you supposed to know what she's ringing in my ears now. Every time she see me, she ringing it. It was masters. Okay, cause. And I applied to Georgia State University. I got accepted, but I saw they were giving scholarships to England, the Chevening scholarship. So I said, okay, maybe I can try that direction there and stuff, something different again, encourage, did the Chevening scholarship, went through the interview, made it to the top 5,000 at the time and whatever, did the interview. And Jael, at the end of the interview, the lady asked me one question and she called a particular name for me. I responded to her nicely. Afterwards, I told them thank you. And I went to the other room and I told Jackie, Marilyn, and Kerwin, I think that was there, I am not going to get the scholarship. and I guess people thought they had won. But I had already gotten my acceptance to Georgia State University, and God is so good. Georgia State University messaged me when I told them, okay, I'm ready to come after I finish drowning my sorrow. You know, Joanne, everybody have to tell me, don't worry about that. God is good. It wasn't meant for you. I Georgia State University sent me an email asking me about my interest in being a GRE. A GRE is where you come, you help a professor, you teach undergrad, and they give you a scholarship. And I remember I was so intertwined in work that I missed the interview. One day I got an email telling me that, it's okay even though I missed the interview, but based on my resume, they're still offering me the position of GRA and stuff like that. And they told me I started to get ready and stuff like that to leave to do my master's. So that was in 2021. And I really wanted to leave because a couple months prior to that, my father had passed, and that was like 2019. My brother passed in England. 2021, my father passed. So these were two deaths that I saw I needed to get away. So I started to put plans in place again. You wasn't born for golden spoon. You have to go to the government, and get that assistance and stuff like that. But this time I decided to go with my two children. Okay, decided to go with my two children, put everything in place, begged and pleaded for certain things, begged, literally cried tears for certain things. I didn't get it. That's fine, got dealt with that. And I went to Atlanta to do my master's. And I have the children with me. I put them in school. They were going in school, and I did my master's in 1 year. I think I left in August, and when people saw me crossing the stage in May, like they were shocked.
Shock.
They were shocked.
Hmm.
I did my master's,
But
and
wait,
then
but that year was not. You make it sound easy, but it was not easy.
no, it wasn't.
You you felt. I remember speaking to you at some point, and I remember you saying, "Jail, I have to clean houses."
Yes.
I remember you saying that to me.
Yep.
And what I absolutely love about you is that you nobody was stopping you. Nothing was stopping you.
Nope. I
Marva,
followed.
you clean house sweet after coming out as
Yes.
event manager. You gonna clean people
Yeah.
house.
I
So you
clean houses, and I clean the houses with pride and dignity. And let me tell you, when you get that 200, 300 US, it came in handy because I have my debt something to pay. Courts calling me, Aid Bank calling me because I have my student loan from before, all kind of, so I had to do what was necessary. Thankfully, I had that GRE. And let me tell you, it was a struggle because of certain processes. I missed getting the first set of scholarship money for the first semester because promises were made and not kept. And then I had to beg, 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 but I crossed that hurdle. But with that, I had a business called Shabin's Corner that I put on, there's this community thing that you share, put it on the community thing to see if I get people to comb natural hair. And then at some point when I was just doing my cleaning, my niece would bring me, my nephew's mother would bring me, we doing cleaning, I doing thing here, and that is how I survived. Because again, God bless my sister. I was with my sister at the time, but I wanted to, be
pull
able
your
to
weight. You want to pull
pay
your
some.
weight.
Yes, cut my boy hair as needed, buy the bread. She would get vexed if I go on, even though it's two bread I could buy and two things of milk, but I wanted, so I did what I had to do. And then again, when I finished, and the thing about it is usually my professors loved me. Actually, at our graduation, when we had that dinner, they voted me most likely to be next CEO. Most likely to be CEO. They did at our graduation party, and stuff like that. So it was a difficult year, but I have people around me who always help me to find joy in the process. And again, when you say I'm determined to do something, Jill, I will do it, and I'll do it well. So I clean the houses for the people, and
Well,
I clean them with all their fanciness. And yes, I say, well, yeah, boy. But I clean the houses, I clean it with pride and dignity, and I came back home. I wasn't meant to come back, but my mother and my sister expect I came back home. And while I was doing my master's, I saw the opportunity at Digicel, and I've always wanted to experience marketing. Marketing was what I studied for my first degree. I did a Bachelor of Business Administration with marketing, and coupled with that, I did a certificate in sales and customer relationship management. So I'm certified when it comes to that for life, and I wanted to experience marketing. But even back at BDA, I remember making little remarks, and throwing it out there. I remember the position stayed open, how much years, and I sitting down there. But put me to ACNA, let me try a little thing like I never got that opportunity. So, I mean, I studied international. I did a master's of international business. Digicel was an international company, a marketing position. It just fall in line. So, my cousin and I, we sat down and I say, you know what, let's take that. Let's look at that as an internship opportunity, to build on what you just learned. And then I applied for the position, and I just resigned, and I said, let me go and try something new so I could own my skills where marketing was concerned. And everything I did, for some reason, I did it so I could circle back, eh? Because it's like as though you didn't want to give me
You're
something,
building that resume.
so I'm building myself so I can circle back. Yeah.
Yes. And the opportunity came for you to circle back.
Well, yes, sooner than expected.
So how has it been like being the CEO? I mean, you started as a receptionist, a clerk,
Yes.
and today you are the boss of
Mm,
people who were some who are there still, some who have left, but
mm.
you are the boss, you're the director of tourism. How does that feel? Like somebody might say, do you feel a sense of accomplishment? Do you feel how does it feel?
One of my friends had to slap me behind my head a couple months ago and tell me I need to calm down. Because for some reason, when I accomplish something in my mind, I already thinking of
The next.
something else. And the person had to tell me, you know what, Mama, calm down a little bit, like sit down and bask in what it is that you've achieved. And honestly, Jael, even when I was a receptionist secretary, even when I was events assistant, and literally at the time, I was jokingly saying, like, if people would say something about Mr. Piper, I would say, you're a little tired trouble, Mr. Piper. Let the man sit down there and warm my seat for me and stuff like that. Just, at many times, it was like a
You
joke.
manifested that, man.
Yes, and then afterwards, it became something like, of course, there's something I probably can attempt, like it became a probably I can attempt. And honestly, when my I left DDA with the thought process that I'm going to own my skills in marketing and so on. So probably I can come back and be the destination marketing manager, honestly. And then my thing was to be the destination marketing manager, probably learn more things because the destination marketing manager is close to the CEO, and own my skills there, and probably I would get the opportunity. So it's not a thing where I anticipated it to come at the time. But me, I have you have to have the heart of a lion for you to be able to is like to enter in the belly of the beast, and to do it with you have to do it with a certain level of class and stuff like that. So I went inside there with knowing that some people have great expectations, knowing that others may not. I went in there with a lot of knowledge and stuff, but I wasn't unbothered. At some point, I had to watch myself in the mirror and say, yes, that is it. And then you have a role to accomplish. This is your mandate. You were given a position where you have to market Dominica as a destination. You have to put the strategies in place that are required in uniform with the ministry and, of course, the government to do that. And yes, that is you. So you have to put aside all the negativity and people's opinions and what they think and focus on the task at hand. And I've come up to discover Dominica at a tumultuous time. You know, everything is not as bright as needed. You know, just like and it's not a DDA thing. You know, everybody everywhere in the world, people going through
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
I knew what I was getting into. So it's not to say I didn't know those things and then I come and I'm shocked. I knew, and I was willing to take up that mantle, and I'm willing to, do what is necessary to advance Dominica. Again, you said it earlier, I love my country. I got the opportunity. I went to the States. I didn't want to. I could have said I'm not coming back. I left with my two children. I could have said I'm not coming back, but I came back. And every thought process, every proposal I put together, every excitement and thing, it has always been about my country. So it is indeed a privilege to be entrusted, regardless of people's opinions as to why. It is a privilege to be entrusted in a position like that. And I will continue to work with the team. Continue to work with the stakeholders. I will continue to hope and pray, that we will get to that point where all the necessities are there for Dominica to thrive and flourish. But in the meantime, we should be happy with the progress we've made. I mean, Dominica is getting out there, and imagine when we're able to, and we go full force, what we're going to do for Dominica as a destination. So indeed, it is a pleasure. It is not an easy role. It is a difficult role. It can be a 24/7 role, but when you're doing something that you love, even though it's stressful, you do it, and then you do it to accomplish. Like you do it. You stress about something for 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden, you accomplish, and you're happy again. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, you do have, in that role, you don't just have the economic struggles that comes with, from every country having their struggles to promote their country. But you're promoting a country that I always like. This is something that I've fought with a lot, as a patriotic Dominican. You know, our name is so close to the Dominican Republic. And I feel like a lot of the efforts that are made for Dominica ends up in the Dominican Republic because the names are so close. And it actually happened to somebody that I knew that, I spoke to them so much about Dominica. They were excited to go to Dominica. They bought a ticket and end up in the Dominican Republic.
Oh
And
my.
didn't realize until they were there that they had gone to the wrong country. When people started speaking Spanish to them, they were like, "That's not where I want to be." But you're already buying the ticket. You're already buying the ticket. And I'm thinking. I always think to myself, how many other people are there? Like I feel like we're doing so much work, in Dominica, promoting Dominica with such little resources, and a lot of it might be actually going to Dominican Republic. Do you feel like that is that a concern, Marva, in your
Of
role?
course, the it is a concern. It's a concern that has existed for a while, but the numbers show that we're progressing. We do have a lot of work to do, and I look forward to the years to come, with all the things that are in place, with international airport and cruise ports and new hotels and Airbnb being a massive thing. I am looking forward to those years where Dominica is going to dominate, and it's going to happen. Dominica is going to dominate the region and the international world. Patience is a virtue. Often things happens in strides. I'm certain when we get there, and we are going to get there, the Dominican Republic will become like a distant name.
Memory.
But of course, it can happen. I know it is going to happen. Again, it's step by step. It is a work in progress, but I never want us to think in Dominica that we're not progressing and we're not being recognized. BBC just recognized us as the number one place to go for 2025. We have to be proud of those things. We're the top 10 place to eat among so many other islands. Last year, we were recognized as the number 5 place by travel and leisure to go. And then Dominica was the only Caribbean island there. So there's things happening for us out there. And I mean, we're an island of 65, 70,000 people, and there are billions of people in
You
the
know,
world, and we're getting there. I mean, we welcomed about 83,000 stay over visitors last year. Our cruise ship and so is doing better. We have 50% more cruise passengers walking. So I know everybody has their opinions on how things should be, but nowhere in the Caribbean or in the world is everything as perfect as is needed. The social media creates a great image and people dwell on that image. So Dominica now needs to continue to create its image for itself, use those digital platforms, continue to have those personal connections. And I'm telling you, and you remember this day, at some point we'll probably even have to go to the point where um we have to do crowd control because people are just going to be flocking to the nature isle.
hey, hey, going to flock because they might come with all of their nuances and all of their things they might want to bring. But I will be happy to receive them. Mava, how do you balance high pressure leadership roles with family time? Like, how do you do it?
Boy, with the grace of God and the support of my family, honestly, because it's and then at some point I have to create that barrier of when I put down the work phone and I strictly focus on my family. Because even as a mother, when I come home, I still have the projects. Over the Christmas, I had to do a project for my little girl ship like a butterfly, where she had to put information about nouns and those different types of nouns. So right now I'm fighting with my son to make sure that he does everything that is needed because he's in his last year of high school. So it's about time management, it's about prioritizing. I have to remember all those things every day, even while I'm at work. I have to remember, oh, I didn't give them lunch this morning. They have afternoon class, but I have a great support system. I have a good support system at home and I have a support system at work as well. And I try my best to manage my time and just to give the full attention. I even think the two first children, they are custom by now. Like once upon a time, Marilyn used to have to make chocolate tea for them at DFC because they're in their uniforms because I'm working all 11, 12 o'clock in the night, or they ride the babysitter and I have to go to Grand Bay to pick them up. And we survived. So yeah, it's about having the grace of God, that good support system, time management, and the will, and so to just survive. This is just me trying to survive.
I know I would not be doing any due diligence or justice or whatever you want to call it would if I don't give you an opportunity to talk about Dominica. And we've spoken a lot about you, but you are the director of tourism, so I want to give you a little bit of time. I know you have we're in the carnival season. You just launched and you guys did I mean, I did a review on it over the weekend. I spoke about it, and obviously, I made some recommendations, certain things that I feel like should work. And obviously we always have to see ways in which we can grow, because it's about growth and expansion and being better. But I want to get a sense of, what is in store for us. We have carnival season. Somebody said to me on the weekend, was it Jael, like, carnival season, carnival is still matchery. Like, I feel like I want to be carnivaling right now, because everybody's so hype and everybody's spirits are so lifted. And people saying, oh, carnival should really be just in March, because it feels like now you have this long period where you can do events and things can happen. I want to give you an opportunity that you could talk, because I know you do manage, well, you do head, your position allows you to head up the events as well as the marketing aspect of Dominica. So I know there are things that you have in plan, things that are rolling out that you can't talk about, and there are things obviously that you cannot talk about. But if you could share with us, some of your plans in terms of the next couple of months leading up to Creole Festival, which culminates our season, in Dominica, if you could share with us a little bit.
So before I go into, just touching a bit on the plans, I want to say kudos to the team, and in my roles over the years, I've developed a method where I do a what worked well, what didn't work well, and areas for improvement, and these considerations are made across the board. And it's amazing to hear people say, "Oh, carnival is in March," but once upon a time we were being told, "Oh, and we're not seeing nothing or hearing nothing about the carnival." One of the strategies we adopted was to bring attention to the carnival, the week of the World Choir Music Festival, when a lot of people were in Dominica, like we just launched the calendar and the video and stuff like that, and then we've been using the distribution channels that are at our fingertips, which is digital, social media, to strategically bring out the messaging about Dominica's carnival, and it's been working. As we speak, in this week, you have the team doing an analysis to understand, how much of capacity, how booked to capacity are the hotels. We have some airlines who are telling you that for the carnival period, that week in carnival, they're booked and they're seeing demand coming in, and they're just waiting to decide whether it is that they're booking more flights. You have airlines who will reach out and say, "Oh, why am I seeing that airline? I'm being highlighted by Dominica's Carnival. What about me?" When people out there do those types of things, is because something amazing is happening. So even with the opening parade, thank you so much for your suggestions. Again, everything we try to do the opening parade in this new light, and it's going to be great for, in some instances. There's always things that you have to work on, but we will put in the work, and it will always be bigger than better. But the carnival is part of the entertainment pillar of tourism, and the intention is to bring in people to Dominica. And it is always threefold. You bring in people to Dominica, you build the economy because people are spending money, and you create jobs for whether it is 2 months, 6 months, 3 months. So for us, it is more strategic to present a 6 months carnival calendar where people can come during the period, and enjoy Dominica. And if you wish, you come back for Carnival Monday and Tuesday to climax. So we love the fact that people excited, and there is this quietness. When people are pleasantly pleased generally, because there's this level of quietness, and after that quietness you're just going to see an uproar. So we're looking forward to that uproar of people flocking into Dominica, because that essentially, sorry, is what we're about. But from a strategic standpoint, and using the resources that are at our fingertips now, one of the things we've emphasized or have emphasized is the use of digital media. So you would have seen for the past couple months, like we've really, really paid attention to social media, and the reasoning for that is supported by data. I teach digital,
Yes, we don't even touch about your teaching you. Oh, Jay. Jesus.
so So when you do the research, 70% of the billions of people that are in the world have a cell phone in their hand. Like some of our cell phones are our best friend, and that is where a lot of companies have put their time and effort, in doing those digital campaigns that are targeted. And when you target, you go to the festival lovers, the nature lovers who likes hiking, who wants to live with a family or looking for a five-star hotel. So these are some of the things that we've incorporated to reach the people that we really want to come to Dominica, and we're going to go full force in that. Uh, there's certain target markets that we're going to be exploring full force. Again, I wouldn't go too much into detail on that. I don't want anybody to quote me. But all in all, the people above me, the ministry, the government, they've recognized the importance of tourism. Tourism is to us now what bananas used to be for Dominica. So, of course, you have to put the strategies in place to make sure it is well received. Look at the accommodation sector. When we do research, a lot of people like packages, and packages are the ability to come and get all the amenities, all the things that you need in one place, discounted flights, hotels, taxi, and so on. And we recognized there was a need for that. So we engaged an expert from Barbados who is now meeting with the hoteliers to help them to develop their packaging. We've recognized the need for a bigger airport, for bigger ports. So there's a lot of things that I may not be directly involved in, but it is going to motivate what our mandate is at DBA, which is to bring in people. But in the meantime, we're sort of cushioning, creating those relationships, preparing the destination for what is to come. And that is why I told you in the very near future, we're going to have to do crowd control at some point because people are going to be flocking into that destination. People are looking for something that is untouched. People want to get away from the noise and the bustle, and slowly but surely, we're getting into that uprising of even telling people get away from the noise and the bustle and the fumes, and so come to Dominica, which is the safest carnival. Is how you translate that information now. You sort of have to be direct and explicit with the particular target market that you're talking to now, so they can understand and, of course, take an action. So there's a lot of things in place. Even this week, we will be going to one of the major trade shows in New York, where you get to speak to probably almost 40 media personnel, and engage, and then just to reinforce, what's new about the destination for 2025, and tell people, put Dominica on your bucket list. So strategically attacking all those distribution channels, where you have to have that one-on-one relationship, and then when you go through the source digital, that is what we're about. And then we're just looking forward to see how things are going to unfold. So that is what I will I will say about that for
Yeah,
now.
that's
So
fantastic, Marva.
yes.
I think that was a lot more than I expected, because obviously I know you like to be tight-lipped about your business. And I will not even try. I will not even attempt to go any further. I want to go to the live, because people have been saying a lot. People have been talking, people have been sharing, people have been so for example, Sabrina says, best manager I've ever had. I'm so grateful to have been there to share many new experiences and learn so much from her. So that's from Sabrina. I want to go down the line. Oh my God. Shane, God did bravery. You never gave up, Mavs. Keep up the great work, and advancing makes a change. Somebody else. I'm trying to get the long messages, because people, there's some, when people know you, they send long messages. So I'm trying to hold them, because some people are talking and some people are really like there to congratulate you. And Anika, I think marketing is in overdrive for sure since Christmas ended. I keep seeing ads and imagery on social media promoting Dominica's Carnival. Well done to the team, and the changes are already evident. So that's from Anika. Um, um, Akin Darling is saying, I saw a solution on TikTok. She was on a treadmill prepping for DA Carnival. She said she isn't missing for anything. LOL. Solutions are coming. They're definitely coming in large numbers. I know a lot of our Bajan friends are coming down too. They're like, we're not going to Trinidad, we come to Dominica, because it's different, and we want to experience the real mass. Giovanni saying, I can tell you love that job and your country. The joy in your voice is so calming. You know, you know, Samaj is saying, Samaj, that's my assistant. He's saying, oh my God, we finally got her on. he knows I'm quiet, of trying to get you on. And it's not because you didn't want to come, it's just the timing, was not right. But nothing happens before it's time. Query Alexander is saying, hello, hope all is well. Can you elaborate on upcoming marketing event in New York? So I guess she wants to know a little bit more about I don't know how much, I think she said as much as she can say, but um I don't know if there's anything else that you can add about that
Well, if
event.
she's on LinkedIn, she can go to our Discover Dominica page on LinkedIn, or follow Discover Dominica on Facebook, and then she will get up to date information on the upcoming trade shows and stuff. Like we out there these days, we sharing stuff. So if you're
We
on the
out there.
line, we out there.
We're
And
out there.
LinkedIn, you need to follow Dominica Festival so you can get all the updates on how amazing Dominica is doing. So stop listening to the naysayers and saying, we're this and we're that. Stop focusing on the negativity. Follow us on LinkedIn, Discover Dominica. Follow Discover Dominica on Facebook, and you will get all the up to date information about Dominica, where we are, what we have, who we are. It's right there.
Yes, Tracy Winston Bailey saying you are literally a powerhouse. Whoa. Folks are sending, y'all can send your messages now because we're getting ready to wrap up. How can Dominicans in New York and environs offer support at the event in New York? So somebody wants to know how they can offer support.
I'll
Again,
reach out to you, Tracy.
and she will. um, somebody said it feels so good to have a CEO that's so down to earth. Kudos to Marva. You are truly a child of God, blessed beyond. And that is generally what a lot of people are saying, Marva. Like you really embrace people. And if people say Marva is a this, you really don't know Marva. Like you really don't know Marva, or you probably caught on a really, really, really bad you really don't know Marva, because you have always been so supportive of people. You've always been, I've spoken to people, about you, and even people who are concerned about interacting with you, because obviously they maybe get somebody tell them something, and I'm like, yo, like Marva's thing is Marva operates in a space of, if we work together and you win, it's a win for all of us. And that is something that I truly appreciate, you for, and how you allow that to manifest on a daily basis, and you're okay not taking all of the awards. You're okay, you're just okay, just oh, that's fine, that's fine. you know and it's so beautiful to see, somebody say it's refreshing, listening to Marva. I hope it will. I don't know if they meant to say, I hope it will last. I hope it won't be the last. Oh, I hope it won't be the last. You are a true spirit of an eagle. That's, people who are coming on. And I want to say thank you, because the people who are commenting, Marva, are all followers of me. Follow me, because you can't comment on my page if you're not following me, right? So I want to say thank you for all of them, for following. Shannon Liverpool is saying toughest and baddest, I see, Marva. um, Dominica festivals, they're on, and they're sending hearts for you. Folks really, really love you and love working with you. And I wanna really tell you thank you, first of all, for allowing me to talk about your story, or share your story with my audience. Thank you for allowing us to hear about you, because so many times we misconstrue. I don't know if that is the right word, but we think that somebody is what they necessarily ain't, and we think that people fell from, they felt like manna from heaven, and it just happened, right? But there is a struggle that goes with it. There is that came with it. There is the tears and the blood and the sweat and the all of what else that comes with it. I just want to say, thank you for doing all of what you do, and doing it, and thank you for coming on here. I know you're a mom. You have your children to go to. It's 10:22 in the night. And you have work tomorrow. Somebody say, Jael, I'm not a follower. I'm here for Marvel. We talk already. You following though? I know if you want you to click for it to comment. But it was really a pleasure having you on Marva, and I want to give you an opportunity for you to share your final words before we wrap up here this evening. Anything, I know we mentioned there's so much more to you. We didn't even get into your events, teaching, at the University of the West Indies, because Joel mentioned that Joel Brown was on the live, and she mentioned that you're such a great teacher and stuff. But definitely, you've done so many things, and you do it so well, and you do it so effortlessly and so efficiently. And I want to give you the final say.
Thank you so much, Jael, for having me. Like, there's a lot we didn't touch on. Like, there's a lot, and you probably know what I'm talking. I'm talking about that. But thank you so much. It's indeed.
Honestly, Marva, honestly, I thought about that. I thought about it and I thought about it and I said, you know what? We're riding that. You
Yes,
know,
I appreciate that. Thank you so
we're,
much.
we're taking the high road and yes.
Yes,
Go
I
ahead.
appreciate that. Thank you for that. So thank you so much for having me, and it's a pleasure to be able to sit here and just to help people understand who I am. Humble Marva, who lives work every day, goes home to her three children, has the same struggles, the same tears. And so, like many of you, I wasn't born with a golden spoon. I struggled to get to where I am today, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful because of the grace of God. I'm thankful for my supportive family, like my mother, my prayer warrior, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, all of them. I'm thankful for the support. And then if there's some young person out there listening who has doubts, right, and who feels like, oh, I do not have money, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. If that is the attitude that you have, you're going to remain constrained. You have to take a risk. Just get up one day, take a risk, do it step by step, what it is that you want to achieve, right? Money and richness is not all. I tell my children, I may die, I don't want to say poor. I may die tomorrow and do not have thousands or millions of dollars in the bank, but I have paved a way for my children and everything that I've done. Thank you so much for the kudos and for bringing light to some of those things, Jail, because people don't know how I've been defensive of, people with talent and even the bouillon industry and stuff like that, and have boldly just done things, the concept of sunrise event. And when I conceptualized sunrise a couple years ago, it was strictly to push the bouillon music that everybody is falling in love with. So thank you so much for that. So I just want to tell the young people out there, somebody who may be listening, set a goal for yourself. It doesn't matter even though you have children. It doesn't matter even though you were not born with a golden spoon. Never let those things restrict you. You set a plan, you outline it, and you check every day. You do it step by step, step by step. By the time you get there, you're going to see yourself at a position, and the struggle is going to become a distant memory. And never think like as though you're going to get to places in life without struggle and without adversity. I tell people adversity apparently seems to be my adrenaline. Worst thing to use to get to me is adversity. Better you just be extra
Don't
nice
do nothing. Just
and
don't do nothing.
because the more like I feel like I on the attack or something, like it fuels me to even do better. So I want to tell people out there, set your plan, set your goals, do not be restricted, ask questions, do not be ashamed to ask for help, to walk up and down. I can tell you about times I have cried, I've asked for help, I begged and pleaded um to get to where I am today and stuff like that. So never feel you're too big or feel prideful enough to take those steps to get to where you want to be. And I will tell you what my cousin Joanne told me one day. They can take away, she told me, don't worry, my cousin, beg if you have to. Because at that point I had reached a begging stage. Beg if you have to, beg for the money, beg for the this, beg for the that. Because at the end of the day, when you get that degree and you get that piece of paper in your hand, nobody can take it from you. So I proceeded to beg and do all what I needed to do. And here I am today. Thank you, Jesus. I ask the Holy Spirit to walk with me. Don't watch me there, people. I'm a prayerful woman. I ask that Holy Spirit to guide me and surround me every day. And I just want God to continue to guide my step because right now, everything that I'm doing at my age is for my three children. I've set a foundation for them, and I just hope they follow through with it. So thank you so much, Jael, for having me. Thank you so much to everybody on the live. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for my family that are tuned in. I love you all. And you see, I contained the tears.
You
But
did. You did. You
yes.
did. You were so good. You were so good and so strong about it. Folks that's on the live, they are commenting. They're saying there. Somebody tell you one thing. One thing they learned is that you said your the favorite thing to say is to create a LinkedIn page and update it.
That's it. Update it.
You know, um,
Update it.
somebody else, Sandra, is saying, Jael, I don't even know Marva, but I'm so happy to hear her story. Continued success in the future. Let me tell you something. When Marva was up for that position, monte enragé, monte kon bête mauvais, because I was like, I felt like that you were so deserving of this, and I could not imagine anybody else doing that position. Like I just could not imagine anybody else. Like that was definitely for you. Yvonne Dawn Sentile is saying it's a vision board, Marva, and it's a daily look at your board daily while you pray. Oh, I guess she meant while you pray.
Yeah.
Just talking about what you mentioned. CeeLo is sending loves, hearts, hugs, prayers. CeeLo is sending so many different things on the live. I guess that's how he translates his words into
You-
emojis.
That's this. Let me tell you, my shutters and then my right to die. Sometimes you meet some people in your life, and people can say what they want. CeeLo, Marilyn, Daphne, Kerwin. These are my right to die. I have to say that.
Yes,
These
yes.
shutters by blood.
Top shatters. Patricia is saying, to God be the glory. Thank you for encouraging words, Marva, for our children and our family, our friend, our churches, our nation. Thank you. God bless you and your family. People are really sharing the love, and they're really so happy to have heard your story. And Marva, I want thank you again. I mean, thank you to my sponsors. I can't continue to do this because it's not air that paying the bills. Dumb like could have cut out at any time. The internet could have go down. I mean, and I truly appreciate the sponsors who've come on and have allowed me to continue to do this, because this show started as a labor of love. I did it for nothing. I
Yeah.
only started asking to get paid to do it in 2022. And people have really supported me, and thank you very much to the business. But thank you, Marva. I know you gotta go because you got your kids to go look after, and it's late. It's 10:30. 10:31. This has probably been my longest interview ever, but I had to give you your time. I had to give you your time.
Let me say
Thank you.
a special good night to Kerwin, my love, whom I
Yes,
miss dearly.
yes. He's on the live. Somebody say love you so much, Renato. Duty Lane, Renato, love you so much. People are beautiful Creole. I suspect that person's a French. Amazing interview. Thank you very much, guys. Those of you who tune in, Maps. Blessings, hello. We'll talk soon, guys. That's it for tonight. That is it. Like they say, that is it. Smooth and easy, right? I just really want to say thank you very much, all those of you who tuned in. Wherever you tuned in from, thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for coming on the live, for sharing the live. If you have not shared it yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and share the live. Follow, subscribe. You could support. Here's my information if you'd like to support. If you'd like to also sponsor the show, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is on here. My contact information is at the bottom. And thank you very much for all the support that I've received. And thanks to Marva for coming on my team, my family, my friends, every single one of you on the live. I'll be back on tomorrow. Tomorrow we have our health series. Our health series continues. We got Curvy's gonna be stopping by, as well as Dr. Alicia Felix is going to be stopping by. They're going to be talking about your health, because your health is your wealth. And if you're well, then you're good to go, right? You can work hard. We'll continue with our health series in the month of January. Thank you very much to every single one of you who tuned in, and I hope you guys share the live. Those of you on Black Island Girl, those of you who are on LinkedIn, those of you on YouTube, Thank you very much for coming on and showing your love and your support. Those of you who came and showed your love and your support to Marva, I truly appreciate you. And those of you who follow, you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be right here. And for that, I truly appreciate you. I want to say thank you so very much in a huge way to my sponsors. Without them, Mobati KC. Thank you very much to the National Cooperative Credit Union for their support. Thank you very much to Elon Go. Thank you very much to the Astafans. Thank you very much to Caribe. All right, we're gonna take a break and we're gonna pay some bills, but we're gonna be out of here as well. All right, so I want to say thank you guys. Have a good night. Domi bien, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. We got a show tomorrow. We got a show on Thursday. We got Superline coming in with Bongs on Thursday. We got exciting programming. We got the Queens throughout the month of February. We got the teenage pageant contestants. We have the Queen contestants. We have the Junior Monarch contestants. My son is going to be co-hosting with me. So we got lots of things going on. Jojo's going to be co-hosting with me during the month of February at certain points. So I want to tell you to continue to enjoy the shows. And if you're not following what you're waiting for, go ahead and follow the vibes and continue to show your support. Until next time, saying good night and goodbye for now. All right, saying good night and goodbye for now. Okay, guys, bye-bye.
NCCU, your community financial partner, brings to you Beyond the Mortgage.
Affordable rates, affordable price. NCCU, everything nice. Go do a course, go take a trip. Beyond the mortgage, 246. You take the mortgage already. Don't make your pocket go empty. Beyond the mortgage, NCCU will keep you steady. You need to buy a new fridge. You want to purchase a city. Get rid of medical bills and invest in the green energy. Beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. Everything nice. Beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. NCCU for life. 246, yes, 246. Wow, 246.
Beyond the Mortgage, 2% savings, 4% retirement solutions, loans available at 6%, and our special BTM line of credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Caribe Hard Cider. Moments made extraordinary.
Heal and Go is an all-natural hair care and skincare company founded in 2021 by our CEO, Jael Burney. Just a girl looking for natural products to enhance her hair and skin, Heal and Go was born. Heal and Go started with the Shea Rosemary Hair Moisturizer, the flagship item, which is every girl's dream of a moisture-locking, detangling hair dressing. This can be used when braiding the hair or twisting the hair. The African Black Soap Shampoo made with African Black Soap and Marshmallow Root is a deep cleansing shampoo. It is coupled also with the Aloe Vera Living Conditioner, which is made of aloe vera, coconut oil, and it is the hydrating ingredient needed when keeping up a wash and go. Our next item is the Revitalizing Scalp Treatment, which is made of 13 different essential and carrier oils to enhance the scalp, help with scalp issues, and also help with hair growth. We added items like rose water to our line, and rose water can be used on the hair and on the skin. On the hair as a refresher and on the skin as an astringent or helping with makeup. Other items include the hair jelly, which helps with keeping the edges intact and keeping away frizz from the hair. We also have hydrating hair milk, which is like a moisturizer for the hair. And all these items can be found in bundles on our website, or they are also sold separately in different sizes to enhance your varying hair care needs. You can find our product at healandgo.com. We also carry a skincare line, as you see our face scrub, made of bicarbonate of soda, anise, raspberry extract, pineapple fruit extract, kaolin clay. We also have oil cleanser, which is made of tangerine oils, grapefruit oil, lemon oils, all to cleanse the skin and keep the skin looking glowing. We also have the face moisturizer, which is an added to our skincare line. It includes aloe vera juice, almond oils. We also have the scrub, and all these can also be found in bundles on our website. You can buy them separately, you can buy them in bundles, you can make a gift set out of those to your loved ones. We have also included for the men, not forgetting them, the men's beard oil. Check out our website for all these products.
I love the Kalinago territory, I love the Kalinago people, and I really embrace my culture.
How the hell do we expect to survive as a communal society in a capitalist system?
We need to teach that history that have not been taught.